Welcome! In this explainer, we are going to break down the absolute best strategies you need to confidently revise for your IGCSE Biology exam. We're going to turn that prep time into a real advantage for you.
I mean, let's be honest. From tiny cell structures all the way to massive ecosystems, the amount of stuff you have to know can feel like a mountain to climb. It's a super common feeling, and a lot of students get stressed just trying to figure out where to even begin.
But that's exactly why we're here. We are going to give you a clear, actionable game plan so you can stop worrying and start making some real, effective progress.
All right, so here's our 5-step game plan to get you totally exam ready. First, we'll build your revision roadmap. Then, I'll show you some killer techniques to revise smarter, not harder. After that, we'll figure out how to conquer those really tricky topics, create a plan that's perfect for you. And finally, we'll talk about staying motivated and keeping your cool through it all.
Okay, first things first, your revision roadmap. And you know what? The most important tool you have isn't a textbook. It's the official guide from your exam board.
Seriously, think of your exam specification as your revision Bible. It is the ultimate guide because it tells you exactly what you need to know. No secrets, no surprises. My advice? Print it out, use it like a checklist, and get that amazing, satisfying feeling of ticking off topics as you master them. It's the best way to make sure you're focusing on what actually matters for the exam.
So now that you have your map, let's talk about how to actually travel down that road effectively. This brings us to our second section, revising smarter, not harder. Because it's really not about the number of hours you put in. It's all about what you do with those hours.
Now, this slide shows a really important distinction: passive versus active revision. We've all done it, right? Passively rereading our notes, highlighting pretty much everything, just hoping it all magically sinks in. But the truth is, it's not very effective. Active revision, on the other hand, is like a workout for your brain. It forces you to actually use the information by testing yourself or explaining a concept out loud. That's the real secret to making it stick.
And the main technique for active revision is something called active recall. The best way to think about it is pulling information out of your brain instead of just passively trying to shove it in. Every single time you do this, you're making those neural pathways stronger, which makes the memory easier to access later on. It is genuinely one of the most powerful learning tools you've got.
So one of my absolute favorite ways to practice active recall is the blurting method. And it's as simple as it sounds. You just pick a topic, let's say photosynthesis, close your book, and just blurt out everything you can possibly remember onto a piece of paper. Then, open your book back up and, using a different colored pen, fill in all the gaps. It's such a brilliant way to instantly see what you know and, more importantly, where you need to focus.
Okay, the next powerhouse technique is spaced repetition. So instead of cramming a topic for 5 hours straight the night before an exam, you review it for shorter periods but over several days and weeks. This method actually works with your brain's natural way of learning to move that knowledge into your long-term memory for good.
And this is a perfect illustration of how it works in practice. So you learn about osmosis on day 1. A couple of days later, you test yourself by redrawing the diagrams. A week later, you tackle some real exam questions. This gradual, spaced-out approach is just so much more effective for long-term memory. Okay, on to Section 3, mastering those tricky topics. We all have them, right? Those topics that just don't seem to click right away. The key isn't to avoid them, but to have a solid strategy to face them head-on. Topics like genetics, ecology, and those transport systems, they can be tough because they involve all these complex processes. The absolute best way to tackle them is to break them down into the smallest possible pieces. So don't try to revise all of genetics in one go. Start with just the key terms. Then move on to Punnett squares. Small, focused steps are absolutely the way to go.
And this brings us to a crucial point about past papers. They are not just for mock exams. You need to use them strategically. So after you revise a specific topic, go and find exam questions only on that topic. This kind of targeted practice builds your confidence and really helps you understand what the examiners are actually looking for.
All right, now that we've got the right techniques, it's time to put them into a structure that actually works for you. This brings us to Section 4, creating your personal plan. A one-size-fits-all approach just doesn't work for revision. Your plan has to be tailored to your unique strengths and weaknesses. So, before you do anything else, you've got to assess your knowledge. Go through your specification checklist and just rate each topic. Green for concepts you've totally mastered, amber for topics that need a little bit of a refresh, and red for your weakest areas. This super simple traffic light system immediately tells you where to focus your energy.
And this slide gives you a great visual for how to turn that assessment into a 10-week countdown. The key here is to front-load your red and amber topics. You want to tackle the tough stuff first. Then, as you get closer to the exam, you can shift your focus from learning new things to really perfecting your exam technique under time conditions.
And that brings us to our final section, which is about something just as important as all your revision techniques: staying motivated and calm. Your well-being is a massive part of your success.
Look, revision is a marathon, not a sprint. You have to manage your energy and your stress levels. Simple things like taking scheduled breaks, getting enough sleep, and staying active, they can make a huge difference in your ability to focus and remember stuff. So please don't neglect them.
And just remember this: consistency is everything. Every single topic you tick off your list, every past paper question you complete, every small bit of progress is a step towards your goal. It really does all add up.
So with all these new strategies in your toolkit, I have a question for you. What is the very first topic you are going to apply them to? Taking that first focus step, well, that's the most powerful thing you can do right now.
This explainer was brought to you by Fundoo Tutor.
Fundoo Tutor is a personalized learning platform that helps students succeed in Cambridge, IB, and other international curriculums with expert mentorship, structured learning support, and engaging resources.